I've got to the point where I've got 5x.
Trader as well as a former boys. We've got the ES trying to crack 57.20 meet. I've been trading this week. Kind of a pain in the ass.
I've traded well, actually.
Good.
I'll give a quick story. I kind of blew out my Top Step accounts literally like right after our interview. I got to the point like three times. I've gone XFA once, but I've got to the point where I've got 5x accounts, got them to like within like $700 of like turning over, and I don't know what happened. I just go on till I like lose a trade, and then it's like no way, I got it, and then I just destroy it, and so like it was like 2 days in a row of just getting my butt handed to me and thinking I could make it back, and I just lost it. And so I kind of took a step back and was like, what am I doing here? Am I trying to make money trading right now, or am I trying to like win at trading and learn the system? Because we talked about it last time. I mean, you need a system to trade. You can't just wing it. It's going to be 50-50. The market's always going to win because you're just going to, the market could stay irrational longer than you could stay solvent. I mean, any trader knows that's the term, and you need the edge. As a floor trader, we had edge. And so, when we're chart trading or whatever system that you have, you need to find an edge, and you need to stick to it because you got to find out if it's going to work or not. You can't just jump into one thing this week and then or next week and then order flow the following, right? You got to figure out what works, track it, trade it, and see what you got.
Yeah, that is exactly right. JD, you two were talking about prop firms in the back, and we held up the conversation because we wanted to save it for on air. JD, do you remember the question?
Oh, absolutely. We were just kind of chit chatting. I got a bunch of questions, coming off that interview we just had with Coach Springer. First off, I don't know how much of that you listened to, but if you happen to catch it at all, how much of what Coach Springer said, you coming from an athletic background, you played college football, you played semi-pro football, how much of what he said can you actually relate to? Like, is that when
Go
it comes to
specific.
discipline and process?
Yeah, if you would go specific a little bit, because I was literally having technical troubles trying to get on, and so I was listening. I was half
Oh, no.
listening.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
my background can share whatever topic on that we can go into.
Absolutely. So he was talking about our kind of trader, what we look for, our kind of trader, our kind of player. What you look for specifically when you're drafting a player, the kind of people that you want to work with professionally.
Yeah, I
Talking
mean,
about discipline and character on and off the field, uh, consistency, all these things. How does it relate to you? I mean, everything that you've done. I've been reading your bio for the last half hour, and it's beyond impressive. Professional bodybuilder, professional athlete. Like you've done it. You've done many, many things. How do those kinds of things relate to I guess your day to day. You know,
Yeah,
are
I
you
mean,
putting in?
yeah, I have teams and stuff that I work with. I have a gym. I have two actually, and so it's kind of you can relate to just basically employees as well. Look, you need people that are gonna put the work in. You tell them to go do something. Like I think the one of the most important traits a person can have is that person who could basically go figure it out. It's if you give me the term, it's usually let me try to think of the exact term, but resourceful. Okay, a resourceful
Mm,
person. And how does that relate to trading, or how does that relate to being a football player? Look, you're going to figure it out, right? You're going to go study. You're going to go, if you don't know something, you're not just going to go step up to the field and try to do the job and just forget what you're supposed to do. You're going to have to figure out, okay, I am going to figure out this position from A to B and know exactly what I need to do, A through Z, if you will. And I think that's the most important person that's out there, right? Because you can train a position, but if someone's resourceful, they're going to figure out how to do the job the best they can do it and not have to specifically be on someone's rear end. Like in football, you got to be usually you're dealing with people that need that, that push. Like I'm the type of person where I work better when someone's like, you suck. Just let's be honest. Like there's people that work well under that environment. And most football players probably fall in that category because they want to do better. They want to get better. They feel like, okay, that's a challenge. You're telling me something that, I don't want to hear. And I'm going to do everything in my power to get better. And I guess now the flip side, you go into like the real world and talk to people like that, and it's a big problem. And I actually had a wake up call, kind of, when I went into with just a very straightforward, um, you know, approach to people. It didn't work well. So I've actually, in my years, had to, you know, reason with people and speak their language, how they want to listen and how they can hear it, because otherwise you're not going to get people to do the same thing that you want them to do. And that might have been part of the conversation with the coach who was on beforehand, talking and relating to players, right? Everyone comes from different backgrounds and not everyone's going to have that same upbringing. So it's like, how do you become relatable to that person so you can get them to do the job you want them to do?
mm,
So I would say that as far as like trading, I think you need someone who's going to follow the plan. They're going to trust the process works and play it out, not just jump from one thing to the next. I really think that's the trader, right? They got to figure out what works for them and not just flip all the time. Every time I'm tilting, it's because I'm over trading and I'm trying to do something, and I'm not following a plan. I'm following emotions, and so if you can get people that are just like, look, this play works, I'm gonna execute it the best way I know how, and if it breaks down, and be resourceful during the play and figure out what you got to do. But making sure that you're taking your setups and things of that nature. I know we're all over the place on that one, but I'm trying
yeah.
to I'm trying
No,
to
that
bring
was
it back
excellent.
to the
Excellent.
conversation.
That was a great answer. We're like 5, 6 ticks from new highs here in ES.
There we
Thing
go.
is sort of waking up a little bit.
Are
Uh,
my screen's in the background, huh? We're watching the book map. Okay, let me give
it
you a
was
second.
up. Now
Yeah,
mine's
we've got
up.
your screen.
Oh,
Yeah.
we can switch back. What do you see in book map here? Is there anything kind of catching your eye? Any levels? Have some
I
like
go back,
liquidity
I
sticking
go
out?
back and forth on this, right? Because you're kind of seeing order flow. You're trying to see some things that are coming up, right? You have these big bands, so you got 300 and something, orders sitting here. Then you got this another band up here. So, right, the market wants to go towards these pools of liquidity. So right now we have the
Mm-hmm.
two levels. You got the 27s, and you got the 14. So right, and then if you look at the other charts, if I zoom out on this one, bring this one up here.
All right, we're pushed high. 57.22s and counting to the upside.
Yeah.
High a day being set for every tick up we get. This is
Now I have a
fresh.
level actually at 23, so we'll see if it busts right through it.
23
And
is
I'll show you how I show you how to get those levels. There's actually a guy in my trading group, Daniel Joseph, who has this like amazing system to like literally get these things to the T. So I do have a resistance level here, so we'll see what happens with it.
23 is
Um,
cool.
that's what I would have actually tried to get out of because I was long earlier. You could see these. I was long and short in different places, but I got worked out. I like buying breakouts actually. That's something like when we're in a channel.
Mm.
I do
Yeah.
actually like buying the high sometimes. Like that way you have a pretty quick stop, right? If you're wrong right away, because then you could just put it right underneath. But instead of buying the channel, I like buying actually the breakout. Doesn't always work out, but
Yeah. Is that something that you will time stop? I mean, I prefer trading ranges, and that's kind of the opposite side of the coin. Is like that breakout trade. It looks like would have been a killer one right now. This thing is still moving to the upside. So do you time stop those breakout trades, or is it just like a vibe check on the entry?
No, I'll put a stop. I'll usually, if I'm gonna do a breakout, I'm looking for a channel, right? So like,
Mm.
let me see if I had it. I'd probably go back the other day. Let me see if I have it
Yeah,
here.
I had a follow up to that. What are you looking for specifically when you're playing a breakout? Is it time of day? Is it momentum going into a new high or new low? What kind of
Usually it's usually a
criteria?
breakout of a channel, right? So like this one right here, I call this one to the money, and I don't know that I was actually. I think I did make money on this one. I have my orders on another place, but like this
Mhm.
channel was coming down, right? And so I saw this breakout happen, and so usually I'm watching this. And I'm like, okay, if it's up, I'm looking for a retest of the breakout, and then go, you then get in. Now, could you have got in here? Maybe, right? Let me try to zoom in. And this isn't the system that I kind of learned off of, but this is what I was trading crypto for a while, and this is kind of like the levels and the way I was playing it. Like, look for the trend,
Mm.
because the market's going to go with the trend until it doesn't, and then here's your breakout structure, and then you have breakout structure, and then you can just start looking through the time frames and see what it looks like, right? Shoot, messed it up. But obviously this pushed up pretty good, and then that was your chance to get back in. So would you have got in there? You could say maybe, okay, I got a high tick. If it comes within this wick here, I'm going to get in. So maybe you got in here and then you rode this thing up. So that would have been a play. I did make money for the first 3 days this week. I didn't trade Monday, but I
Nice.
was warming up a new account and another system, and I just got back in TopStep today. So I'm gonna start see if I can get. I got to get on the leaderboard over there. I gotta play the game. If I'm gonna be on TV, I gotta actually be one of the guys,
Oh,
right?
we would love to have you. Love to have you on the leaderboard. Uh,
Gotta get
you and
in
JD
there.
were talking about props in the
Yeah.
green room. I've been pounding the table saying that we are in the golden age for prop firms and for retail traders. Can you kind of explain to us and explain to chat the difference in prop firms and like what is accessible now versus what the barrier to entry was back when you were trading?
So when I traded on Wall Street, um,
Order filled.
that was 2006 I got on. So I don't know that these type of things existed. The electronic markets really weren't there. They weren't there. So
Mhm.
um,
Hmm.
because I was in hand signals. Like when I got in 2006, we were still doing hand signals on the floor, and so the electronic markets really weren't there. And when you talk about edge, we had edge. We knew the prices before everyone else knew the prices. So that's edge for sure. But I passed a resume at a football game after leaving. I was a Series 3 broker in Florida, and I didn't want to do that anymore. I want to trade. And so I kind of lucked out, passed the resume to the right person, got it to somebody on the floor, go figure. And I
Order
actually ended up in
filled.
copper pits upstairs in the
Hmm.
Comex. And I wasn't there long. Some guys in the oil needed me. So I started working for three guys in heating oil, gasoline, and crude. And I'll give them shouts because if they watch T Bone, Michael Amdur, you have Givry, and then Boy Charles Hines, Scott Givry,
Well,
and
you still
those are
talk
the
to
three
him?
guys. I do. I talked to T Bone. He was my direct mentor, so I literally talked to him this week. Actually, he checked in with me.
T-Bone,
So
if you're out there, TopStep TV at
Order filled.
topstep.com. Send me an email. Love to have you on.
yeah, he's he's a,
T-bone
he's
and
he's he's retired.
T-Bone
T-bone
and
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 meat.
meat.
Let's get you
what's
two
that?
on together.
Oh, T Bone and meat. Yeah.
Oh, oh,
Well,
the
we're our
butcher.
trading coach.
Yeah.
Um, and it's funny the names, right? And T Bones doesn't look like a T Bone. He looks a lot like when someone's called big and it's tiny. He's a smaller guy. But the prop firm was Prime International out of Chicago. I know out of where you guys are out of, and
Yeah, I'm
so
very
it's
familiar
very
with Prime.
different. You guys know Prime?
I know Prime. Yeah, I've been around
Yeah,
for a
I,
while
was-
too.
I was I was out of Prime, so big operation, really big. You had risk managers and everything else. So like you were taking positions in options and derivatives, and you were taking them overnight, and you're taking them for months at a time. And so a lot different ball game than what we're doing, right? I wasn't a futures trader. I was an options trader first, hedging with futures. So very different.
Mhm.
So like as I explained last time I was on the show, and I might want to take along here actually looking at this kind of channel
Oh
I'm
yeah,
gonna
trades first.
um,
Something you like.
I'll
Hop in.
kind of talk and think at the same time if I could do both. I'm not sure. Um, but yeah, it just was so much different because you had to like literally put the time in to make sure you knew the risk and make sure that they could vet you because they're giving you millions of dollars in margin to
Order
basically trade the
filled.
market. And so um, I grew a strategy of just being short options, and they hate that. So, um, you know, collecting premium and just managing risk. So I'm buying highs and selling lows, and it might be actually the reason why I don't mind buying the top of a market because I know
Mm.
it's looking like a breakout. But this actually might be a good pullback for this channel, and I'll show you what I mean. what if
Yeah, I
it
mean,
was
your boy
weakness.
called those 23s. I mean, we sold off
Right,
pretty
it did,
quickly
right? Yeah.
once we got up there. Yeah, about three
Yeah,
points
I'll show you where I
downside.
got that from. Actually, I kind of want to do a little teaching on this show because I know I trade very differently than most of your guests.
Hmm.
Uh, so you could go to
Excellent. Yeah,
regression
let's see
trend.
it.
You can go regression trend right here. It's going to put that right. So that would have been a buy. I probably would have bought that if I was just trading that trend. Um, but then you never know when it's going to break out, right? Then you don't know if it's going to fall down. So you could try to swing these if you're in and out. That's not a bad way to go. And then you have a really quick stop on the down. So that's a way to trade. But where I
Hmm.
got this one real quick, let me kind of just do that one.
And this should be
I see you
available
got
in
the
top
volume
step
bars.
as well.
What's
You've
that?
got the volume bars up on the bottom there. How closely are you looking at the volume while you're
A lot,
considering
a
your
lot,
trade entries?
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mix as many confluence as I can to make the trade. But so I'll give you a quick style. And again, I'm not the author of this style. I'm kind of just still learning it. But most people would just look at supply and demand, right? So you got supply up here, it changed, right? And then you got demand or something down here. But there's actually a way to get more narrow. So you got to figure out what time frame works best for the entry or to set up the chart. But if you see up here, you could see that what these do. And I'll just build one of those in front of you. All right. So, and I'll take this one out right now. And I'll tell you why I did that one in a second. All right, so you got this blue candle, which is going to be your signal candle, right? But on the hour, it doesn't work out because the second candle, which is the reversal, is actually wicked higher. And so you got to make sure that the signal candle is actually the longer wick. I'll go to the 30. Where's it? Third. So the 30-minute gives me the better entry. Um, And so the way I was taught, and again, this guy Daniel Joseph, it's in the Master Traders group online. You know, we kind of just sit in a group, and they're pretty cool. I know you guys have your Top Step group, so as long as you're getting
Oh, yeah.
mentor from somebody who knows what they're doing and is profitable, good. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people are not profitable doing these groups, so just be careful. But you're going to take the first setup is looking, okay, here's your signal candle and that's your reversal. And then, the problem with this one is you wouldn't have got a way to get back in if you want to take it off that trade. But this is going to just set it up for the next time you want to come to this level. So you're going to go and take where is it? My box. Where's my box? Oh, I'm in the wrong thing. Here it is. Box. Where's the box, guys? Here it is, rectangle. I'm going to take my box. I'm going to go from the top of the body or the bottom of the body to the wick. And I'm going to go to the right, right? So I'm going to build the channel and I'm going to go just the gray.
Order filled.
I'm going to go right out and right. Okay. So that's the box. Okay. That's where your stop would go if you're going to get in this thing. Now to actually get the
Okay.
entry and where I got that 23 or something close to it, you're going to take a fib. And I'm going to, all right, got it. So I'm going to take it and just do it on this one. And that's it right there. So that's why that yellow, I put it there before because I knew I was going to do this with you guys online if we were close. So I just wanted to kind of show you. And so now that's
Oh,
that
very cool.
channel, right? So then I know that this is a supply zone where it changed before. And this is the next one that I saw in line that we had. So this was on the second. The last time we were here was the second, right? So if we get that channel, where are we now? Let's go reset chart.
I
And I
like
keep
how you
them.
label your charts
I
too.
keep it real clean too. I put them in, where we're at, so I don't get too much on the chart.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the fundamental labels that you have
Yeah, if
on
I
your
don't do it,
chart
I don't know,
reference.
right? If I don't know what the heck I'm
Exactly
looking
right.
at, and so like I would have had to put 30 minutes on that one, right? I think we're in the 30-minute zone, so I'd go put a 30-minute and say where it was it supply or demand? But yeah, I mean that's how I got that one right there. And so when you look at it and you go right, nothing touched it. It's the last time it touched that range. So I know that that's the last area that we had that made that mark. So look, we got a reaction. Whether it goes through or not, it's another question. But we certainly got the reaction that I was looking for.
So that would have been an opportunity possibly to take a short up there, or is that like, hey, I'm looking for a
Well,
pullback
it
down to
could
the
be another
threshold?
entry if you're looking at like, and then so here's where now this matters. Actually, this is just chart. So here's where this matters. Now you're looking at delta. Now you're looking at all those other things, right? So let's get into this. right? You're going to see, watching the volume, did it. All right, so you have a big push up, right? 1259, and then you have the next candle down was 830. So it's saying, okay, we have a decent amount of sell-off. It's more than the previous candle. So, all right, we have to watch it. And so possibly you could have took a short on this candle here, on this wick. You probably would have said, all right, if I have a bias, if I feel like it changed, I can take this short here. But you probably wouldn't take it on either of this. This is your signal candle, right? It's wicked into it. Second candle came up, and that could be the retest. So maybe you could have got in there if you were convinced we were going short. But if I saw all greens and then I saw volume start dying out, let's see if we could find one. Usually they're pretty good, and these are 5-minute candles, by the way. So you're looking for volume to die off where absorption's taking place, right? So you got right
Just to get some
here, greens are falling
clarification.
off. We're going up and volume's coming off, then we got a short. So it didn't really do it. It actually pushed up. But like there are situations, and this is more chopped during the day, but there are situations that you'll see like volume's up on a dump, and then it's coming in and it's getting absorbed, and then you see it go back up. So that's how we use volume.
Is the blue the total volume of the candlestick, and then the red or
VWAP.
green?
Yeah,
Okay,
VWAP.
perfect. Man, that 23 level, pretty much on
Order
the
filled.
pulled off 13 points and counting here in the ES.
Look
Wow.
at that thing go.
Yeah,
Nice
my
little dump.
goodness. Yeah, if you're in chat paying attention, Meat said 57.23s could be the
All the
level. We are
I'm glad
13
it
points
called and
lower.
went my way instead of the other way, right?
Yeah, we're exactly exactly. Well, if we get down
Well,
to
just an
57.05, it's gonna be bottom of range of the 30-minute range that we're in. So that might be an interesting opportunity there. JD, you seeing any trades that you like right now?
I want to give a quick update. Hogue had to step away, but Hogue
Oh,
is long a couple of micro S&P right now. He has a stop working at 57.02 on the downside. He's long at 57.07 hook, 57.07 half. So we're right back to his entry price. This little dip
didn't even know he had a
cleared
trade
out
on.
all that.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That's a long candlestick. Wow.
If you bring my screen back up to there's something that you guys don't see when you're just trading the charts, and I don't bring Top Step up here too,
Mm-hmm.
so we're not but these divergences right here, right? Like see these bearish and bullish divergences that come in and with price, and so when I zoom in, you can see that it just ripped through those prices, right? There's maybe nothing on the other side, so it was just, and so this probably will get touched again, right? So like if I was to say if I'm going to flip long, I'm probably putting stops somewhere around here.
Okay.
So just something that we can see on when you look at like the footprint charts, they give you these divergences or these basically price where it just moves.
I mean, I just love that you're showing us just all the different ways that data can be visualized. I mean, everything from footprints to bookmap, regular charts. I mean, there's just so many different ways.
Order filled.
It's great for traders to see because you don't have to just trade off of candlesticks. I mean, there's a lot of
Yeah,
tools out
it's
to use.
you're just trying to give yourself more touches, right? More opportunities to give you confluence, and that's it. You're just looking for how many points of confluence can I take, and what's your A setup versus your B setups.
Yeah, exactly. Man, that we called the sell off pretty much to the T. Top of the 30-minute range, right back down. Hit those 57.05s. Now we're bouncing off of there. So still fairly range bound in these in the last I'd say last hour or so, maybe last 2 hours. It's been a kind of a tough trade recently. I think this news or lack thereof is really putting the crimp on the market. I mean, we're up about 1.5%, but man, is it tough.
Yeah, let me see if I have any other levels down here. I did have this other one, and it actually did work earlier, but I'll tell you why I didn't use it here. I'll go and do the same thing. So we use this one here on the 30-minute because let me actually get this. Where's the minute? Sorry, guys.
No, it's all good.
No,
All good.
take
It's
your
cool
time.
stuff.
All
Yeah,
right.
Jade, if you see a
So
trade,
this one here, this is the signal candle, and the wick was higher than the next candle, right? On a supply, and a demand, you want the opposite. And so this one didn't work that way. So I would have taken, just looking at the middle range, like we set up that one, I would have probably looked here as another possible, because we broke down, here also. But what happened is you had this huge wick. So that looks like a news event. I don't know what if it was 3 o'clock. Oh, maybe that's just the close. Maybe
Oh, it's
that's
the
it. I don't know.
close. Yeah.
But just like look at that wick, right? So that's scary. And so like I put the dotted line here, not an actual mark. I just because that's like that's an area that it broke down, but it's not really the setup that we want to put into. So I just put it as like a point of like, huh, take a look. And if you look, it actually did have some reactions.
Yeah, I like how you're
Are
breaking
you
this
taking?
down.
I love how you're breaking this down. Yeah. Are you taking trades on Friday going into the close? Will you trade right up to
Uh, I try to
the bell?
stop around. I try to stop around. I actually try to be stopped before 12 if I can help it. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried to get something in the count to bring to the table today, and actually I was up good, and I just didn't take it. Somehow I could show you actually what the trade I took if you want. Here, let me try to bring it up. Where's TopStep?
Yeah, we'll have to get you on like an earlier segment or something when the market's a little bit more lively. Maybe like
Yeah, for sure.
11 o'clock or so. That's when things are moving pretty good. We've had a hard time. The 1 to 2 segment is just, markets are not moving a whole bunch. It's great for range
I took
trading.
It's tough.
That survived.
I took I took this, and you can call it like why did I take that? I was just trading that channel. I was just like I just felt like we were breaking down. I was looking at volume in other places, and I was looking at deltas. I was like, all right, they're selling off, but like, and I was down. I was up pretty good right here. I think I had a 10 lot on here. Um,
Ooh, nice.
and so I was up probably 400 or something at one point, and then this thing just went bam. I was like, what the? And the funny thing is, actually, I was gonna go one. I was gonna go for like a I was to let this thing ride. I just got the count and I was like, all right, it's got $2,000 of drawdown. I was going to take like a $400 loss, which was up here. And my stop was here, literally up here. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. And so I chickened out and moved it down, and I got whipped out. Look at that, like really close.
Ooh.
Um, so if I let it ride a little bit,
Oh,
give it a little bit more room, I would have been solid. But I would have gotten whipped out eventually because it didn't come in here, and I probably would have let this thing ride.
man. That's what gets me, my FOMO. Little stopped out by the ticker or a handful. That sends me, that sends keyboards out the window. We're coming up to the end of the segment here, about 5 minutes left.
Remember I said
Any,
this,
any,
Mark. Remember I said this. It's coming in here. Mark my words.
yep.
Coming in.
Watch. Gonna hit it.
Let's
Oh, go
see.
ahead.
Let's see. Oh, I mean, I
Take a
just
long into
give
it.
you, yeah, give you the opportunity to final words here. We just had a professional NFL coach on, a former semi-professional football player on. This is a very motivational 2 hour, very motivational hour we got right now. There's any words of advice to chat going into the weekend, maybe to get ready for next week?
Well, I mean, I think if you look at the fitness the component of it, you could sit in a room and just be unhealthy and have all the bad things. But if you're going to look at like getting out in the weekend and enjoying life and get a fitness routine or something like, if I was to put that into it, words of wisdom, you can't just sit in front of the screen all day because your body's going to be beaten up, right? If we're just sitting here not standing. So I would say get movement, take a couple trades, take a walk, touch grass, right? People say that all the time. I'm
Yeah.
actually
Mhm.
hosting a my Wall Street workout. I actually talked, I think, briefly on the last one, but I'm actually gonna be
Mhm.
doing that with 30 days. I'm actually be doing some touch coaching with people, and they could get access to my program. So that's there. They could just go to my website. But I would say, literally, guys, don't get obsessed about this one thing right here. This is a means to having a better lifestyle, but there's a lot of other things that go into it. I coach people on faith, fitness, fellowship, finance. I call them the four pillars, right? You need to have some version of more than just one thing. And there's no balance, guys. Let me say that again. Balance does not exist. If you look at a heartbeat monitor, what's in the middle, right? We're flatlined. So, there's more of a rhythm in life. So find out what's going to take precedent and priority today, tomorrow, this week, this month, this season. But don't let all the things drop. So many people will let their fitness just go by the wayside, and then they try to catch up when it's too late. So don't let that happen. Their marriage, right? So many people get obsessed with the business and something else, and then their marriage is falling apart. So you guys have to make sure you don't drop the ball, right? We all have to figure out, okay, what are the priorities in life, and how can I at least make the minimum viable attempt to make sure that that priority doesn't drop to the wayside. Because there's no sense of having it all and having no one to share that with. And that's kind of something that I felt actually when I was prop trading. When I was on the magazine covers and doing all the things, I had all these things, and it was all about me at that time, and that was very unfulfilling at the top, to be honest.
Man, those are some wise
Wow.
words, meat. I asked, you delivered. I'm gonna go touch some grass after this. We had Hannah in chat saying, absolutely just got back from the park. She's back from touching grass, and she's excited because coming up is the reversal challenge. We got myself, Andre, we got Jesse K, and we have the returning champion and very sassy woman, Fatima. You are now my arch nemesis, and I hope to bury you